Welcome to the AME television show, guys. I'm your host, Jason Down, and we've got some great stuff for you today. We have on Skype with us Samantha Stewart. Now, Samantha has made appearances on every single solitary daytime television show out there, also known as soap operas, but she's best known for Days of Our Lives. Well, she is in a brand new movie co-starring with Ruth Reynolds that we've talked to last week about her movie Voodoo. Now, she's going to be telling us about her career. She's going to be talking to us about the movie. And I'll tell you what, if you have not seen this movie, this is one of the most horrifying horror flicks out there. It's got hell, it's got the devil, it's got demons, it's got voodoo, it's got the occult, it's got everything you want in a horror flick to scare you. So she's going to tell us about this movie and her career, and we're going to go talk to her right now, so we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I have on the line with me a very special guest. Her name is Samantha Stewart. She is in a brand new movie called Voodoo, and she has also been on Days of Our Lives, one of everybody's favorite soap operas. Welcome to the show, Samantha. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
So what kind of got you into being an actress?
Well, I was born a Leo, who are just kind of like natural performers. I always just kind of like craved the spotlight. I was always that kid in like choir who like wanted all the solos and wanted to be the center of attention. So my mom started putting me in community theater when I was in elementary school. And then from there, I would just like always do the plays in high school. And I joined a modeling agency when I was in middle school. And then it just went from there. I got my degree in theater. And I've been out in LA since I was 17 pursuing my dreams.
Wow. So that you're in a great spot for that, for sure. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Other than maybe New York or maybe Chicago, I think that'd be the best other place to be.
Right. Depending on whether I want to do theater or TV and film. And I decided I wanted to focus on TV and film, so Los Angeles was the best place.
What's the difference between theater and television and film? What made it so interesting for you to choose one over the other?
Yeah, it ended up not being a difficult decision for me because I realized I'm very much just like spontaneous actor. I like to kind of learn my lines, not rehearse too much, and then just, once you've done the scene, move on. And it doesn't really work that way in theater. You end up, having like months of rehearsal, and then you end up doing the same performance over and over. And I just found that was like not my acting style. I didn't enjoy that. I got really sick of saying the same lines over and over. So for some actors, it's, the way that they love to do it. They get really immersed in a character and they can play that character for months, but that just wasn't me. So definitely didn't want to do theater.
Now, you were on Days of Our Lives. Did you watch that show growing up or anything? Or was it something that you were a part of with any type of these daytime dramas?
I didn't watch it growing up. I didn't have really any family that was into soap operas. When I was kind of focusing on trying to get TV work, I was doing workshops and I met with the one of the casting directors for Days of Our Lives, and it just seemed like something that I'd be good at because it's a very interesting style of acting because you really have like one take. You don't have like multiple. It's kind of like going back to my dislike of theater, or doing theater. In soap operas, you don't have a lot of rehearsal. You don't have a lot of time. You don't say your lines over and over again. You pretty much get one take to nail it. And that's what I loved. I love that, just like say my lines, get out of there. And that's what soap operas really are. And it really teaches you to be able to nail something the very first time you do it. And that was something that I was good at. So I realized soap operas were an avenue that I thought I could be successful in. And so I just made like a goal for myself to do all the soap operas. And within 6 months, I had a speaking role on all 4 of the current running soap operas.
Wow, that's really awesome. Yeah, and that's a great feat to be able to do, too, because I know I can't do anything in one take, especially something like this, believe it or not. One of the reasons I do these television shows and radio shows is to train my brain to be able to try to do things in one take, and right. I do everything unscripted, so it's kind of a little bit intimidating along the way.
Right. Yeah, it's a tough medium. Like, not all actors can do it, for sure. I mean, it gets a bad rap, but that's because it's very difficult to give a fantastic performance in one take. But the actors that can do it, they're really strong actors. So I was very drawn to it.
So it's also a goal for you too, which keeps you, continuously evolving, I'm sure, to make sure you get your craft down to the way that you want to be. And,
Right.
that's something all artists, no matter what type of art, needs to be doing, is constantly challenging themselves.
Totally. Absolutely.
Now, you actually are part of this Voodoo. We talked to Ruth not too long ago, and this seems like a really interesting movie. What made you decide to do something like this? I mean, because it really is a cult film.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at the time, I was just grateful for whatever work I could get. Like, it wasn't like, this particular story drew me in and I was like, I have to do it. It was like, I submitted to it along with 100 other projects. I happened to get called into audition. I happened to book it, and I wasn't in a position like where I wanted to turn down anything I was booking at the time. So that's really what got me to do it. I mean, I just booked it, so I did it. And then realized later, it was definitely it was unlike anything I had done before. And I realized it definitely had the potential to be a cult following. And I'm thrilled to be a part of it.
Was it a challenge for you to play something like that? I mean, did you have any background knowledge about voodoo or Satanism or anything like that?
No, I wouldn't say that. I was always a big fan of horror, and especially kind of underground horror. When I was a kid, I used to love to find the horror films that had been like banned in multiple countries and find a way to see those movies. Like, I was always that kid that was like the rebel and like wanted to do what wasn't allowed. So I was really into those kind of films growing up. So doing a horror film like this was really fun, but it was extremely challenging. I mean, we were on a low budget. There's no stunt performers to step in for me during the hell scenes, like not a lot of rehearsal. So it was just me kind of getting beaten up for a few days and staying up till 7 a.m. in the morning after getting the set at 10 a.m. the previous day. So it was tough. It was strenuous, but I think, all of that kind of abuse like made the character kind of come alive and definitely added to the realism of the story. So it all worked out in the end.
I actually love horror movies myself, and I'm like you. I like to find those obscure ones out there, and I realize that sometimes with a lower budget and they don't have necessarily the greatest props or outfits, it can make it look really cheesy, or it can make it look, or they can do a great job with them. And
Right.
I think one of the ones that I first got involved with that I really loved watching was Vincent Price's The Fly. That was probably one of the most grotesque things I've ever seen in my life when I was younger. And
Right.
And then I got to experience my first real-life horror story. I don't know if you've seen the movie A Haunting in Connecticut. I used to deliver newspapers to the house next door to that place. And that summer, I was at the same hospital that her son was doing cancer treatment of, and I heard all the stuff, because every time you drove by, there's like make the hair on your neck stand up, and just really cool stuff. So
Yeah.
I love horror movies, and I love the fact that you can be so artistic with them, because there's really no limit on the makeup and the costumes and stuff like that. What would you say for something about Voodoo? What do you think that they did a great job with the outfits and the makeup and all the special effects that they were able to put into it?
Yeah, I mean, we had a really great team. I was blown away. Just even, the teeth that they would create just added this whole element to the way that like Ruth looked when she turned into a demon. I mean, she was scary. Like, I couldn't even be around her when the cameras weren't rolling, when she was in her demon makeup. I mean, it was pretty terrifying. And when Jared was getting into his like Satan costume, I just remember being like, "You are one scary, you know what?" Like, they just did him up from top to bottom, and every detail was so intricate, and I thought that was so cool. It just really added to like my terror when I'm going through like this experience. So yeah, they did a great job.
Did you have to have any of those weird teeth in your mouth too?
No, because I never turned into a demon. I was always just me, getting my ass kicked. So I just wore the same dirty pajamas for like 4 days. Like, it was gross. Like, just blood getting all over it, and dirt and mud and being dragged through it. And I had to put on those same pajamas every day and just like hate my life. So I don't know which one was worse, the demon teeth and makeup or an outfit, or my outfit.
Because I swear, if I had something stuck into my mouth like that, I used to spar and stuff like that when I was in karate, and putting those mouth guards in, I gag all the time. So
Yeah, well, and they would drool. I mean, they would literally be sitting there and just like drool coming out of their mouth because it's really tough to swallow when you have those teeth in. So I was not envious of that for sure.
So what was your character like, and kind of give us a backstory about your character?
She's a pretty innocent Southern girl. I don't think a lot bad has happened to her in her life. She did lose her mother, so I guess that's something bad that happened to her. But for the most part, I think she's just got a very positive outlook on life, and I think she was trying to move on with her life after her mom died in the best way possible. And she thought she found love with this man in New Orleans, and then come to find out that he's married. And she did the right thing. She left him. She tried to get away from it all, and just bad luck happened to follow her. And it didn't matter that she didn't know he was married. His wife just decided that she was going to curse her. So it's definitely a big juxtaposition between who she is in the beginning and who she is at the end, because she's kind of ready to move on with her life and be happy and have a good time with her cousin. And then she just goes through this, like, just hellish experience and basically is, dead in the end and probably is going to suffer in hell for the rest of her life. So it's kind of an unfair ending, in my opinion. She didn't deserve it, but, that's life.
True. And unfortunately, you didn't know that, his wife was a voodoo mistress. So, I mean, you just got to choose sometimes who you see in life.
Yeah, maybe don't live in New Orleans when you decide to get into a relationship, because everyone there was, maybe gonna curse you.
Now, I heard some of the best lines. It was actually on a television show, but they say you can't play somebody without taking something away from that particular character, and it's like it possesses you in a way. Did you have anything that you took away from your character that you realized maybe it opened up your eyes to something, or maybe you can imply it with your own life, or anything that you learned from your character that you maybe put into your own life now?
I just like how no matter what she went through, she always kind of had hope that it was going to be okay. Even when she's going through hell, she doesn't really give up until the very end. And even then, when the after the rape scene and the doors kind of open and she gets back to the house, she really thinks that it's over and that she's made it and that it's going to be okay. And then, fate kind of, slaps her in the face again. But I like that hopefulness that she has, that no matter what she was going through, she was like, I'm going to get through this. So I'd probably say that.
Has this movie made you want to go check out, New Orleans a little bit more and experience some of the culture and stuff? Because I've always wanted to go there and see Madame Lebeau's grave, which I think would be very interesting in itself. Yeah. But how about you?
I love New Orleans. I've been there a couple of times, and I love the city and the culture and the architecture, the music. It's a really cool city. The first time I went, I actually bought a voodoo doll. But the voodoo doll had a little card on it that said, "This doll for keep away evil." And the person that sold it to me was like, you don't hurt your enemies with this doll. Like, this doll protects you. So I think it's interesting. There's all different forms of voodoo, and it's not necessarily all demonic or evil. Sometimes it's, can be used for good. So I think that's interesting.
I got a voodoo doll too over there, so you can't see it over here, but I do have one myself from New Orleans, so it's pretty interesting to have. And what do you have kind of coming up in the future here after this particular movie? Do you have anything else in the works that you're working on now that you were excited about?
Not that I'm in the middle of working on, but I have a few projects that should be coming up here in the next year or two. There's a horror film called The Mystery of the Casa Modesita, and it's going to be filmed in Peru with Malcolm McDowell from Clockwork Orange, and possibly Gary Oldman. We're in talks with him. So that should be really cool, getting to film in Peru. And then I have a bunch of commercials coming out, and I do a lot of crime reenactment shows. So I've got a couple of those coming out on Discovery ID in the next couple months. But yeah, I'm a little more picky about the projects I'll do these days. I'm not like just submitting to everything like I used to and just taking whatever I get. So, I'm doing less projects these days, but better quality projects. So.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, how can people follow you, and how can people find Voodoo when it comes out?
Voodoo is already out. It's on iTunes and on demand. It was in theaters for a while. It's not hard to find if you're looking for it. And me, my website is thesamanthastewart.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at thesamanthastewart. And I have a fan page on Facebook, which I think is actress Samantha Stewart. It's easy to find, but those are the best ways.
Well, I don't want to keep you anymore. I know you got a pretty busy schedule tonight, so thank you for coming on and sharing us some stories about the movie Voodoo and what you have coming up, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Limo Bob builds, sells, and rents the world's finest, longest, and most exotic limousines in the world. We provide every imaginable vehicle, from a 4-passenger town car to a 10-passenger Bentley Rolls and a Hummer for $20. We even have a one-of-a-kind 727 jet limo. And we offer a complete consulting package where Limo Bob comes to your location and shares 3 decades of experience in 3 days with you. Call 708-945-LIMO and visit limobob.com.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I have on Skype with me Richard Elden. Now, Richard Elden is an entrepreneur and an inventor, and I know you've seen his products out there. His products are one of those little carts that you can fold up. They're made of plastic, and they have the wheels and a nice little handle on it. Well, he took his invention to Shartank, and they gave him a lucrative deal. And he took it, of course, which anybody would do it. Now, what's really cool about him is he's going to be giving you some tips and tricks on how to make it if you are an inventor, how to come up with brand new stuff, and tips and tricks on getting your stuff onto Shark Tank, because he did it, and he's successful with it. So we're going to go talk to Richard Elden right now on Skype, and we'll be back after this. All right, guys, welcome back to the show. We have a very special guest. His name is Richard Elden. You've seen him on ABC's Shark Tank, and he signed a $2.3 million deal from Mark Cuban and Lori Grainer. Welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Oh, very good, thanks. Excited to be here. What's cooking, guys?
Well, I know for me, not too much. We're just having some fun, chatting about some neat stuff that you got going on. Kind of tell me about how you decided to become an entrepreneur and design and create these types of products.
So that is a very good question. It's not a quick 30-second answer, but I'll do my best. I used to work for another manufacturer right out of college, and a few years into it, I decided to go out on my own. I always had businesses growing up, small businesses, nothing like my company today. And when it was time to leave, I had already learned the consumer products business. I designed my first product. I was in grad school for my MBA, and I created a marketing plan for this company in my marketing class. Then I went and I went off to China. Actually, I went to study in Hong Kong as part of the same program, and that's the only way I could get to China to meet factories to make my first product. Then I came back over here, and I got an order from QVC and an order from HSN, and that's how I started my business.
That's phenomenal. So tell us a little bit about the product that you were selling.
First product I started was the Quick Cart, which is right over here. There's the Quick Cart. It's a plastic collapsible cart. It actually folds like this over here. So it folds for compact storage. I started the company with this product, and I sold it on the TV shopping networks for about 8.5 years. And then I came out. Well, what's happening was California was banning plastic bags. So I decided to make a cart that weighed less, held more, and folded thinner because I thought there would be a greater demand for my products. And so that's how I came out with the Smart Cart. And those are some of the Smart Carts right over there.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So kind of tell me a little bit how you got the nerve to go on to Shark Tank, because I know a lot of people say it's very intimidating, and just because you have a product doesn't mean you can just jump on the show. What was the preparation that you needed?
So there was a lot of preparation. everybody wants to get on Shark Tank if they have a business. And so if you have the opportunity to get on, if you're nervous or not nervous, you want to get on there regardless, because it's a tremendous amount of awareness created of your product or your company on the show. I've been a bit luckier than most in that I started my business on the TV shopping networks. And in the beginning, I was the one that sold my products on TV. So I've got a lot more experience than a lot of the people that go on the show being in front of the camera. And I've sold our products both here in the U.S., also in other countries like Canada, the UK, Germany, Italy. So when I went on the show, I focused on what I wanted to get done, which was to make a deal. So there's really no nervousness at that point. You know, your heart is pumping a little bit in the beginning, but once you get in the flow and I'm there to do what I need to do, it's really not intimidating. It's just like when I sell products on TV on the shopping networks. What the focus there is, I want to sell our products. I want to explain the features and benefits as best I can so the consumers can get it and we can sell more and more products. So I was kind of in go mode. So not as intimidating for me as it would have been for some of the others, I think.
And I know that there's been a lot of people that go on there and they make proposals like, okay, I want $100,000 and like 5% of the company. What is that supposed to mean to people?
Well, that's evaluation, right? You're telling the sharks right off the bat how much you think your company is worth. So you want to make a deal where they're paying for a certain percentage of the equity, the value of the company that you think it's valued at. And that's where you get a lot of back and forth between the sharks and between the people who are pitching. The people who are pitching always think that their company is worth more, and the sharks always want to try to make the value less so they can get a better deal. But if you know your numbers ahead of time and you do the valuations correctly, it's really hard for them to kind of beat you down on the valuation. And I had done a ton of preparation. There's a lot of preparation, months and months of preparation before you go on the show. So you're hopefully, when you're finally on the show, you know what kind of questions they're going to ask, and you prepare those answers in advance, and you just want to be on it all the time. So there's no delay. You can be crisp and clean and decisive answers and good, fast responses.
And not only just with Shark Tank, anybody that's going to go and ask for money, some type of investment, they're going to need to have pretty much the same type of system out there of different things that they're going to need to present to the lenders. What are some of the things you want to have in your portfolio when you're going to go find a lender for a business that you want to have or a product?
Well, your company needs to be making money. If you're not making money, then no one's going to loan you money. You've got to show that you can pay the money back. So you've got to show enough cash flow to show that you can make the payment on a loan that you're borrowing. This is one of the most important requirements that banks and other lending institutions look for.
And just to mentally prepare yourself for something like this, what are some of the things that you need to tell yourself to be confident in yourself in order to get out there and present yourself the best possible way with confidence?
If you believe in your product, you're going to be confident. If you know you've got a great product, it works well, it may have features and functionality that no other products have, like our products. Our products work in a way that nothing else on the market does. We're one of the bigger companies to ever get on Shark Tank, so we were already selling in Bed Bath & Beyond and Staples, QVC, Amazon, and those bigger retailers, Target, Walmart. And so we've got a track record of success at major retailers. So that success going into the show and in any presentation gives you a tremendous amount of confidence. When it comes to the banks not lending money, because I thought that they were going to lend me money, more money and much sooner, and they didn't, and I would go back to them and I would say, look, I have hard copy POs from Walmart, Target, Bed Bath, Staples, all of these companies. Give me the money. And, the big banks today are not set up to loan high growth, smaller companies like mine They're just not. Unfortunately, the system today is not geared towards companies like mine, which is why shows like Shark Tank are a tremendous opportunity to try to get investors to come in and provide that financing that is so hard to get from the banks.
Now, you're in the sales business, obviously, so you've heard a lot of no's, you've heard a lot of yeses. How do you not take the no's and take it to heart and realize that sometimes it's just not for them?
You know, it's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get back up. And if you keep getting back up again and again and again, at some point, that becomes second nature. For anybody who's starting a new business, they might get a no or 2 or 3 no's and get discouraged. If those people can't get back up, then they're in the wrong business. You're going to get a lot of no's your whole life, no matter what you do, whether it's in business or anything else. If you are not able to find a way around those obstacles, over those hurdles, if you can't turn those no's into yeses and you're going to get discouraged, then you probably don't want to try to start your own company, because it's riddled. I mean, there's so many no's. It's funny. Sometimes people ask me, "Hey, Richard, what do you do?" And I say, instead of telling them what my company does, I say, "What do?" My job is to turn a whole load of no's into a whole load of yeses.
That's true. Now, I've seen people go on Shark Tank, and they have a great product, but it's completely, priced out of price range for people. Because they want to use the top of the line. They probably can't get a good distribution on materials and manufacturing with it. How did you manage to keep your product at a high quality, but yet make it affordable for people, obviously, so it's not priced out of range?
So I've had my business 15 years, and I've already made that mistake in the past when I developed one of our products, which was the highest quality, top of the line. But what I learned with that product, and what I tell all of my staff when we do product development, I say, look, if your product is too expensive, no matter how good the product is, it might as well be the worst product in the world, because if it's too high for people to buy it, no one's going to buy it. So it doesn't really matter. Your price has to be at a place where the consumer will choose to spend their money. So cost is very important. We develop a lot of products, and we consider quality. We consider a lot of aspects that go into product development. In the end, we have an idea of how much our product is going to retail for, and we have to design it in such a way that the costs are in line with that retail that we want to charge. There are some times where we do develop products where we don't exactly know what that retail is going to be, but no matter what it is going to be, we know we have some kind of ballpark. I mean, we can't make cards that cost $300. We know no one's going to buy a $300 card unless it's some kind of specialty niche market. We know that our price point is between $20 all the way up. Now it's going up to about, I want to say, $70, $80. But again, you're designing features into the products that have enough value that the consumer is looking at that product and saying, I like that product. That's worth the money. I'm going to spend the money and buy that product. And that's the name of the game in the consumer products business. If you can get that right, then you'll have success.
I can see where you're coming from. I mean, it's good to have sometimes a little bit higher end stuff where it costs a little bit more money, and then have a couple of variations of it, so people, no matter what they make, can afford to have that more expensive one, or one that maybe fits their budget a little bit better, but not skimping on the quality.
Yeah, and also when we develop products, we don't come out with the big master deluxe model from the get-go. Yeah. We'll start with the standard model of a product. And even though while I'm developing a product for the first time, sometimes I want to build more features, and I might want to have a different kind of quality than the very first model. But I'll start with the first model, make sure that it's resonating with the consumers, make sure that it's making the connection, and people actually want to buy that style of product. Once they do, and we have success, then a lot of times we'll make a bigger version, or we'll make a more deluxe version, and then we can start to see if they'll buy the next more expensive model. At least that's our direction. That's the way we go. I'm not saying it's the way that everybody should do it, but that's the way we've been able to have success in our company. And not everything we develop is a hit. If you could design every single product and have a hit every single time, that would be pretty remarkable. But as long as the majority of the products that you're developing, and the more we develop, the more we understand our customer, the more we understand what important features that the customers really do demand in their product, you tend to have an increase in your success rate on those kinds of products you're developing.
Now, distribution's got to be extremely important, too, because a good distributor will help you get your stuff. You'll have enough in stock. It won't kill you. It won't jack up the price. How important is distribution to a product?
It's one of the most important elements of this business. You could make a great product. It could be at the right price, but if you're not able to get the product into distribution, you're sitting on a lot of product. So it's absolutely essential that you get into the retailers and the, whether it's online, specialty catalog, brick and mortar retail, the TV shopping networks. There's a lot of variation out there in retail. If you can just get a foothold somewhere, start to have success, and you can build on that success and go after more retail. So super, super important. I think cost is important, retail price is important, distribution is important. All of these are really critical elements. In order to have success in a consumer products business, you have to get it right in every area. If you fall short in one area, say quality, for example. Say you've got a great price, great product, the function's great, but it is not high quality enough to survive the everyday environment that people are using your products for. Well, you're going to get bad reviews. You might get one order. Let's say you get an order into a retailer, but people are not going to go back and keep buying, and then your retailers are not going to reorder. That's why we had a massive growth in our business. We started to get many, many more reorders when we came out with the Smart Card and the Trolley Dolly. These were the two products that were highlighted on Shark Tank, and those are our best sellers in our company. People love the quality, they love the functionality, their price is right because they're buying. Everything has come together. And so we just continue to develop products that have all of those elements that are really hitting with the retail consumer.
So what type of advice would you give somebody that's trying out and trying to follow your footsteps and maybe create a product out there? Should they be scared of it? Should they attack it? What advice would you give them?
I would say you have to manage your expectations. Most people who are not in this business think that they're going to create a product, they're going to come up or invent this product, this new product, and instantly they're going to become a millionaire. That's not how it works. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that goes into a product that you develop, and it's not a overnight success situation. A lot of these people that go on Shark Tank, for example, you may think that, and a lot of them do, they just create a product and then they go on the show, and then you think, oh my God, overnight. We've been in business 15 years, for example, and we've seen a lot of growth. It's kind of gone up, and then, kind of flat, and then up again, and then flat, and then a little bit down, and then boom, it went up. And we're in that upward growth phase. It was sort of like a hockey stick right now. You have to be really committed. You have to understand that this is not a quick process, and you need to be in it for the long haul. Very important advice my mother gave me was, Richard, if you're going to have a big company one day, maybe you should go and work in that kind of company, understand how it works. Then when it's time for you to set up your company, you'll understand what it takes and how it works. And that's exactly what I did. And if it wasn't for my experience in the previous company I worked for, I would have made a lot of the silly mistakes that people usually make when they don't have experience in an industry. And a lot of companies go out of business before they even begin because they're making those basic elementary mistakes that they should have learned working for another company. And another thing I would say is do your research. Most people don't do enough research. There's no such thing as doing too much research, because the more you study the product, the environment, the consumer, the functionality, all that, the more you know. And the more you know, the less mistakes you're going to make, especially in the beginning of a company. We're all normal, regular people with jobs. I was a sales manager. I was making $80,000 a year. And you only have a very limited amount of money to use. I borrowed on my credit cards. I took all the money from my financial aid because I was in grad school. I refinanced my car. I mean, I went for it. And even that, you still don't have much money to play with. Later on, you sell product, you make profit, you take that profit, and then you have more money to develop. And if you make mistakes, you're not out of business right away. Right. So I know that was a lot of advice I just gave, but if you can take away all the important elements of that whole little monologue I just gave you, I think that would be very beneficial to anyone who wants to get in the consumer products business.
And Richard, obviously one of the most important things that we can talk to you about is how can we get your products or see what you got coming out?
Oh, yes. Well, you can go to our website, which is www.dbest-products.com. So that's D as in David, B as in boy, EST dash products with an S.com. Our products are also on Amazon. You can also find some of our products in Bed Bath & Beyond and, some of the other retailers that I mentioned. I invite everybody to come to our website and take a good look, because we have a lot of variation today, and we have a lot of different kinds of cards for different kinds of uses. So we're the number one collapsible card company in America. Nobody makes the number of variation, the breadth and depth of the line. So please come take a look. If you have any questions, send us an email about your questions. We'd love to hear from you. People send us ideas about what to add and what to change. We welcome all feedback. It's very important to listen to all the people that have feedback. We're a very open company, so we welcome all of that kind of information.
Well, thank you for coming on. This has been enlightening, and I actually have a couple of your products, and I use them all the time.
Great.
So, well, thank you so much.
Which ones do you have?
The cart that you showed me before, the plastic one.
Oh, the quick cart.
The quick
yeah,
cart, yeah.
That was that's what we call our legacy product. That's the product I started the company with 15 years ago, and it continues to be a strong seller for us. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. It makes me happy. I love to hear that people are using our products, because it does create a benefit in their life. It makes their life easier. And that's really our goal. We want to make products that make life easier. It's not really all about the money. We know if we can solve those kinds of problems where people are having them or make it easier, we'll make money because people will buy our products. So as long as we focus on the product and what makes them so great in their functionality, we'll make money.
Well, thank you for coming on, sharing us your story, and telling us some amazing advice that I hope people will follow. And
thanks very much.
I hope they'll find your stuff too.
Okay, yeah, so now when you're in the store and you can see our products, hopefully everyone will remember this little interview.
That's right. Well, guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we got so much more, so don't go anywhere.
The AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV.
All right, guys, we have a brand new segment coming on right now called Man Reviews Stuff. Now, we've had a couple of things that we've reviewed in the past. It's whatever anybody sends us to review. It could be food, it could be music, it could be videos, it could be books, it could be anything. I don't know what we have coming up right now, but we're going to go check it out and see what I get to review on Man Reviews Stuff. And we'll be right back after this.
In a world where all opinions matter, one opinion matters more, and that's his. Join Jason Dowd as he reviews movies, books, music, and anything someone wants his opinion on in this edition of Man Reviews Stuff. Now here is Jason Dowd.
Hey everybody, I have a book I want to bring to you guys. I kind of ran across it when I was at Disney World. No surprise there, because you know I'm there all the time. And this one is called An American Original, Walt Disney. It is his actual biography about his entire life and how he started. And what's really amazing about him was that he had so much adversity all the way through his entire life. His parents didn't believe he was going to be a cartoonist. He had the dreams of being a cartoonist. Money stood in his way. He almost went bankrupt, and yet he was able to salvage it through the smart thinking and thinking outside the box. For instance, did you know that Walt Disney World became a reality because of the World's Fair? And some of the rides that you know, like It's a Small World and the American Hall of Presidents, was funded by outside companies, and that's how they started Walt Disney World. Have you ever seen the ABC Family, where they used to bring on all kinds of different Davy Crockett's and everything? That helped fund Walt Disney World. It's amazing what he went through. I highly suggest, if you want to see how a master worked it through the Depression and all these other things that were so adverse for him, this is the book you want to read. And I'll tell you what, it will show you that no matter what happens, you can overcome anything. 5 stars on this, guys. There's pictures inside of it. Easy reading. Highly recommend it. All right, that's all we got for this week. All right, guys, that is the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed all the things that we had to show you, the tips, the tricks, the places, and the people. Now, if you happen to miss anything, don't worry about it. Go to the www.theamemagazine.com. Everything's archived up there. And if you haven't seen our radio show yet, please go check out our radio show. We have had so many amazing celebrities on there, amazing, talented artists. You name it, we have had it on there. And I am so proud of the growth that the AME magazine and the AME experience is doing. So if you haven't been a part of it, please join us. Go check it out. There's so much for you to do, and hopefully they'll inspire you. So until next time, keep those creative juices flowing, and we will see you on the road.
Like, OMG, you were on TV and junk.